Here we go.
Hi, everyone. This is Michaela and Teresa and Genelle and our interpreter, Robbie. Thanks for joining us today. We'll wait just a minute and see if we can get any of our community to join us on our live. We'll give them a minute. I do want to point out that if you would like to access captions today, sometimes the settings in Facebook can be a little bit off and they may or may not work depending on your settings, our settings. We've tried to ensure that they will be on Facebook Live, but just in case you do have some issues, we're including a Zoom link and you can join us on Zoom. And you'll be able to access the captionings there in the Zoom room. So if that's an option you need, we hope that Facebook is working, but if it's not, join us in our Zoom room. And we do have an interpreter with us today. She will be interpreting for Genelle and her presentation today. All right, I think we're at 2 o'clock, top of the hour. So I think we're gonna go ahead and move forward and introduce Genelle today. First of all, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Michaela Hammaker. I'm the Guide by Your Side coordinator for Texas Hands and Voices. And I am happy to say that I get to work with both Teresa and Genelle. Genelle and I work under some funding from the Statewide Outreach Center, supporting families together. So we're able to work together in that capacity. And so I have seen the impact that the Deaf and Hard of Hearing Mentor and Role Model project and program can do and has on families. So really excited that she gets to share about that for Deaf Awareness Month with us here now. Want to turn it over to Teresa for a second so she can introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Teresa Banda. I'm the Executive Director with Texas Hands and Voices, and you won't see much of me today because I'm going to let Michaela and Genelle handle most of this. But I just wanted to say a quick hello and thank everyone for joining us today for Tuesday Topics. We're happy to celebrate Deaf Awareness Month together and excited to have Ms. Genelle with us today. So I'm going to turn off my camera now and field any questions or comments that come in. So be sure to drop those in our comment section on Facebook. Or if you join on our Zoom link, you can definitely drop those in the chat box. So, all right, let's get going, ladies.
Awesome. So this is Michaela once again. As I mentioned, Genelle is just a gem as a person and also with the program. So I'm going to turn it over and let her introduce herself and give us a little bit of, give us some information about herself and then the program. Genelle?
Hello, thank you so much, Michaela and Teresa. I have enjoyed working with Michaela. It's been about 2 years now, and wow, getting to know her, I'm getting to know her very well. It's a wonderful and good experience to see her guide by herself, her passions, and the support that she gives to parents and families all over the state of Texas. So it's an opportunity to be invited to do this today. So first, I'm happy that it's Deaf Awareness Month for all of us. I'm excited. It's a nice month to be able to talk about deaf culture, deaf needs, deaf community needs, deaf passions. We have so many on the list of resources this month, and we really want to support our cause and have us continue to understand the deaf needs and what we need for our families and children. That's wonderful. So today, my name is Genelle. I'd like to introduce myself, Genelle Sanders. My name sign is Genelle. I am deaf. And I'm from Southern Texas, so where Corpus Christi is. So it's nice and hot, but you know, the beach is, it's right there. That's nice, it's perfect. I'm currently working as the coordinator as Deaf Mentor and Deaf Role Model program. And I've been with them, it's my 3rd year now. And we have seen an expansion, a lot of strengths within our program, wonderful mentorship programs and role models, and we're so excited to see what our future holds and what it looks like. Today, I'm going to touch briefly on what our program does and what it looks like. What's a deaf mentor? What's a deaf role model? Why are they different? And what do they do? Plus, we're going to talk about what are the benefits for having a deaf mentor and a deaf role model. What's the benefits that can provide to your child or family? And how can we match you with a deaf mentor? And how can we match you with a deaf role model with your family and your child? And what are the different needs? And we'll talk more in depth. So now I'm going to show my PowerPoint and we'll show the slides. If you have any questions, please feel free to add that in the chat or the comments. Don't wait till the last minute. And anytime you can interrupt me, I will pause and answer your questions, and then I can come back to my presentation. Sorry, technical difficulties trying to get it to pop up. Okay, so it always seems to have that right today. So as I had mentioned, my name is Genelle, and I am the coordinator for the Deaf Role Model and Role Mentor Program for the state of Texas. And I've backed up a little bit. Let me just introduce and say that when I'm sharing these slides, again, after the presentation, if you want to contact me directly at any time, please do. Here's my contact information. Sorry about that. Okay. So I'll let you read the slide and then I'll sign it. So like I had mentioned, this program serves families all over the state of Texas. Now, this is children from the age of 0 all the way until 5 years old, and sometimes 4-ish, 11 months old, 31 days, right? Just as long as you can have your child, we want to provide support to you. So this program, what do? We connect families with children who have deaf or hard of hearing. We connect them with a trained professional who is a mentor or role model, and it abides to the national standards. And so the program and curriculum that is based in Utah, and it's all over the United States now. And we're one of those programs that uses their curriculum. And that guides us to be able to support all of our one-on-one families within a role model program. So I'll give you a minute to be able to read this and then I'll sign it. Sometimes, when I'm talking in depth about our program with families and there's other deaf people in the audience, they'll ask me, they'll say, why is there a mentor program? Why is that so important? And I feel that everyone may assume that, oh yes, mentorship is beneficial because you see someone who can guide you, someone who's already been through the same trenches, and they can give an FYI, this is what happens, and they can support you, carry you along. But if you have a specific deaf mentor or a deaf role model, that makes it even more unique. People ask why. A deaf mentor is someone who has already been through the gauntlet. They've already touched the same experiences. They've been through those same challenges, and they have the ability to be more empathetic, to be able to empower and really support the family who have deaf and hard of hearing children. Plus, their children can be even more supported. We partner with guides, and how we do that is guide by your side. They focus on the parent. The parent support is very important. It's key on how parents are able to, oh, we have the same experiences. I'm not alone. Now, with the deaf mentor, we feel like we're the door into the community. We are opening the door and providing all the resources, ASL, all the resources with deaf culture, all the different communication modes, all the access modes. We bring them into the community. So when the program is an independent process, we are not just solo. We partner with Guide by Your Side, with Texas Hands and Voices, so that we can support their work and support the parents. And at the same time, we're supporting the child as well. The slide is briefly talking about each one and the research, looking at deaf mentors and deaf role models specifically. And when you find a mentor and you have that common experience, someone who's already been through it, and they're able to support you and teach you and really connect with you, they have less of an experience of feeling like, I don't know what to do. I feel helpless. I don't know what to do. What are my resources? If they feel supported, we're able to bring them up. They feel empowered. They feel more confident, and they feel like they have more of ability. Hey, I can make decisions for my child, and I'll be able to communicate and empower. And that empowerment is key. We want families and children both to feel empowered. Now, the role model, it's not that connective compared to a deaf mentor. However, it still makes a huge impact. A role model is kind of like a snapshot or a glimpse into the lives of a deaf adult. So if you've met one deaf individual, you haven't met them all. Each deaf individual is very unique. Each one has their own experience and their own background, their own educational background. And some deaf decide they want to be mainstream. Some want to be in a day program. Some deaf adults, they went to school for the deaf, like Texas School for the Deaf, but it depends on their experience. Each one is a unique experience. The same thing as communication preference. Some prefer oral all the way. Some prefer maybe a little bit of both, Some are all the way ASL, and that's fine. Each one can be unique. It's your ability. It's what your experience is. So the role model, it's very nice to have someone who can work both with families, parents, and to the child one-on-one. They can meet with them and they feel, oh, I've met all these different role models, and they have different experience and different background to provide that child, hey, I can be myself. I can transition this way. There's not like a right path or right way. Is there? No, there's not one right way. What works for you? What works for your family? What works for your child? So again, a role model is just a snapshot to help that child to build an identity. And for the parent and the family and the child, so they can identify if they're a deaf child, hard of hearing. So taking all of that research and combining it, we found a wealth of information and huge benefits, not just to the identity of the child, but also the influence on the child's academia improvement. We can see better grades, better self-esteem, better deaf determination in school, better decision-making, and really being able to go through the various paths and emphasize the ability to empower themselves to be autonomous. And later in life, post-secondary, we see employment. They have more empowerment with themselves, with their employer, with consumers. A mentor or role model, we can provide that additional support for children, feeling like I'm not the only one. I'm not alone. There are others out there. There's others like me. They can. I can. You can. And that's amazing for mental health. I mean, right there, that's amazing. And the quality of life has improved because they have better ability to be able to communicate their needs and what they want, and transitioning. Sometimes transitioning, that's difficult. From home life to transitioning to school to workplace, all those transitions. But when you have a mentor and a role model, being able to give those skills, it helps them with resiliency. Resiliency to say, hey, you can do it. You can get through these paths, get to the other side, and helps with the transition. And it really helps it to be a lot more smooth transition. It's not always perfect transition, right? There's always some roadblocks along the way, but to be able to make it a smoother transition. If that child innate ability feels like I can be resilient, I can do this. And so when you see that list, it's important to have the role model. And in our program, we're under Texas statewide, with Texas School for the Deaf and with the Resource Center, the outreach, we see the huge benefits with families. And you'll see that further in the additional slides. And I'll give you a minute to look at comparing the two.
Genelle, can I say something before you compare these? I just wanted to point out, as a parent of two deaf and hard of hearing kids, I think one of the things that I remember most when my kids were growing up was the very first time that my son met another deaf person and the impact that it had on him. But, you know, not only did it have such a lasting impact on him, but also to me. The deaf person that we met just really became a part of our life. And they're a part of our story. They're a part of things that we share with other families. And so the ability for these deaf mentors and role models to connect with families and for these families to take advantage of such a unique program is so, so special. I just want to emphasize that, you know, meeting a deaf person for both parents and the child can be life-changing. I know that it was for us. So I just think this is such a phenomenal program to be able to take advantage of with families.
Thank you, Michaela. And I'm happy that you had the opportunity for your child as well. And that experience of meeting a deaf individual, often for a child, it's just, it's huge because I'm the only deaf person, the only person in my family that I'm deaf. And then they see somebody else who's deaf. That's a huge life-changing experience. Thank you for sharing that, Michaela. It's true. So this program, there are some okay benefits, but you'll see what are the differences. So here's the list. So we talked about deaf mentors specifically and how we train them and how we educate them and what services that we provide. You'll see in the 3 different categories, ASL. And understand, we don't only provide vocabulary, but we also talk about grammar structure. We talked about structure, word order, where the placement of words are, regular sign, for example, and knowing what's the difference between Sign Exact English and American Sign Language, what's the difference? And we can talk about that in depth with some examples, how you can sign something differently depending on regional signs. Deaf culture, deaf awareness, what are commonalities? Deaf jokes, that's always kind of fun. We talk about what are the different types of deaf jokes. So the deaf parents can be like, oh, okay, so I can do a joke with my child and understand that, so that's really cool. And then also the last one is the early visual communication strategies. For example, so one common is paying attention. So a deaf person may be sitting and looking. And so how do you get their attention? Do you holler? They're still going to be looking in the other direction. Holler! They're still going to look in the other direction. They're not going to turn around. What do? How do you get their attention? So some parents, they get really frustrated. So we talk to them. There are other visual ways to get a child's attention. For example, flicking on and off the light. A deaf person will be, oh, why are you flicking off and on the light? I'm trying to get your attention. Oh, we talk about feeling vibrations. So a table. So if a deaf person is sitting across, I need to get their attention. I may tap the table. Because if I wave it, I don't slam the table, but a light tap. I want to be able to vibrate. So that way they can look over and see what's making the table move. So there's different ways to be able to communicate visually. And so we help to identify what are those code switches from auditory communication, hollering someone's name or, hey, you, to a visual way of communicating. So those are 3 different categories. And the mentor will work with the family on those 3 areas. Talking about role models, it's more brief. A model will meet the family and they'll talk about maybe the deaf person's background, what was their personal experience. They will allow the family staff a lot of questions. You have cochlear implant, you have hearing aids, what did you do? What about speech therapy? And the role model isn't going to tell them what to do. However, they will say, my experience, I can talk about my personal experience, what was my path. These are things that I did and what I used. And then we'll have another role model that may have a different aid or different listening device. And they'll can ask the same family questions. What did you do? And they can say, I can talk from my experience and my background and my preferences, and they can share that. And so that way the family is exposed to a diversity and not just one answer fits all, but each person, maybe something worked with them, something worked with another person. Someone liked an aid, a hearing aid, the other person didn't want a hearing aid. So they can ask all these questions to different individuals. Yes, Michaela. I'm thinking the problem with technology. So hold on one second. I may have to contact Teresa. Hold on. I'm not live on Facebook. So we'll just go ahead and move on. I think we'll be fine. So go ahead and move on and finish. We're almost done with the presentation. Yes, go ahead and move on. Okay. All right. So in short, you have, deaf mentors and role models. Maybe I should wait. Oh, we're good. Okay. All right, we're live. Are we okay? Okay, so in short, no, go ahead. You sure? Okay. So in short, we talked about deaf mentors and role models and what the differences are. So we are currently accepting families who feel like they want to join. Please talk with your guide about this program. And my contact information is listed here. You can also contact me on the web. You click texased.org, their website, you're going to see a list of different parent-to-parent support groups for guides. You also see a mentor. There's like a little tab right there. Click it. It'll open up. It'll have more resources and you'll see our program. And if you're motivated and you'd like to, hey, share your information, please click. There's a link there, or you can copy paste as well. That's it. That's all for me. So again, thank you so much. Michaela, thank you again for having me. And if anybody has any questions or concern, I am willing to answer them. Oh. We're having a problem seeing. Can you see? I can't change the settings. I'm not able to change the controls. So sorry about this. So Teresa is not here. Oh, I see Teresa. This is Robbie speaking. I see Teresa on the top. Oh, can you see Teresa? I think Michaela maybe can't see you, Teresa.
Say bye. I know we're gonna say bye. I can't change any of the settings. So I don't know if you can hear me.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for having me, and I've really enjoyed this. Thank you, Robbie.